At Lily's birthday bash, she extended an invite to her ex, Hero. Even though I raised my concerns, everyone began rooting for them to dive into the lip lock card game where they had to slide a card using just their mouths. The card slipped, and bam, they ended up kissing. Hero glanced my way and said, "Whoops, didn't mean for that to happen." "My bad, Alex. You cool with this?" Instead of losing it like I used to and throwing off the vibe, I just grinned, took a seat, crossed my legs, and replied, "Nah, it's all good. Go for it." From that moment on, I let go of any grudges against Lily. Even when she mentioned she needed to check on Hero, I just smiled and gave her tips on caring for someone who's unwell. But she freaked out, her eyes turning red as she grabbed my hand desperately. "Dude, aren't you even a bit jelly?" At Lily's party, I stood there watching her and her ex-boyfriend engage in a truth or dare style game. The crowd egged them on to use a see-through kiss board between their lips. The rule was to keep it steady with just their mouths for 10 seconds without dropping it. Right when their lips were about to meet the board, I couldn't hold back anymore. "Cut it out, Lily. Don't you think this game is going too far?" People around looked let down, mumbling under their breath, and one of Lily's friends poked fun. "Lily, your Alex has got quite the edge." Lily's face instantly darkened, and she started tapping the board in annoyance. "So what? There's a board in the way. It's not like we're really kissing. Can't you stop ruining the fun?" My heart ached. In our 3 years together, she'd never considered my feelings. I'd asked her multiple times not to invite Hero, but she brushed me off and brought him to celebrate. "Don't be so dramatic. I'm over him," she claimed. "Plus, everyone's a mutual friend here. And he's just coming out of a breakup. It's just to help him chill." Yeah, all our old friends were there, and I was the odd one out. I was always jealous of Hero. Every time I threw a fit in front of everyone, Lily's friends started disliking me. Watching the two of them, so close and relaxed, I just felt drained. "Lily, my stomach's killing me," I mentioned. In the midst of our standoff, Hero grabbed his stomach in pain. Lily, looking both worried and stressed, said, "I'll go get you some meds now." But someone interrupted her. "Lily, the game's not done yet. Are you trying to bail on drinking? What do we do then? Should we wait until you get back?" Hero, looking pale, forced a grin and asked, "Alex, can you do me a solid and grab some medicine from the pharmacy around the corner?" "Hero, when did my boyfriend become someone you can boss around?" Lily snapped, sounding annoyed but still playing along. "Alex, could you please help Hero get his meds? He usually takes this brand for his stomach. It's super effective." She handed me her phone, showing a pic. I instantly recognized that medicine. Once, Hero had posted on social media about Lily taking care of him, and that exact medicine was in the picture. In a fit of envy, I had tossed all the same meds out of our place, only for Lily to call me crazy. Seeing I wouldn't budge, she looked a bit ashamed. "Babe, could you do me a favor as a birthday gift? I'll make it up to you tonight." She whispered sweetly, trying to sweet-talk me. Here we go again. She was dangling a carrot in front of me, trying to trick me into doing what she wanted. Before, I'd have jumped at the chance, only to be brushed off with excuses when it was time to claim my reward. Now all I wanted was to bail from this stifling spot. "All right," I said, getting up and exiting the room. When I reached the pharmacy, Hero texted me, "Alex, the punishment game with Lily isn't over yet. Hope you can forgive me for what's next." I ignored him and rushed back. As I opened the door, I saw them with their lips pressed together, only the board in between. As everyone cheered and started the countdown, 10, 9, 8, my heart plummeted. Lily had let me down completely. As I walked in, Hero flinched, and the board slipped from their mouths. Lily, caught off guard, leaned forward and kissed Hero right there. They were kissing in front of everyone. Lily quickly pulled back, screaming in surprise as she wiped her lips frantically. Hero, looking uneasy, turned to me and said, "It was an accident, my bad, Alex. You cool with this?" Lily, rubbing her lips until they were red, nervously added, "Babe, it was just a slip. Don't be mad." I calmly sat down, crossed my legs, and smiled. "Nah, it's all good. Go ahead." Everyone was left speechless. Before, I would have flipped out and caused a scene. Lily would have immediately jumped in to criticize me. It was just a joke. Why are you overreacting? You're embarrassing us. And Hero would have played the hero. Come on, Alex. He's just too protective of you. Listen to me. Don't argue. Then Lily would scold me. Look how thoughtful he is. Can't you be more mature? I was always seen as the bad guy, while Hero always looked good. Today, I didn't throw a fit. I quietly sipped my tea. Lily seemed uneasy and approached me, asking if I was feeling okay. Where's the medicine? I didn't get it. He seems fine, able to play games. I don't think he needs it, I replied flatly. Lily's face flashed with anger. This was the first time I didn't comply with her demands. Let's keep playing, she snapped before turning to Hero to push things forward. Hero glanced at me, then smiled and suggested, maybe we should stop. I waved dismissively. No need to worry about me. You two go ahead. Everyone cheered, praising how understanding I was. But Lily's expression darkened for the rest of the games. She was even more into interacting with Hero, sharing snacks, pinching each other's noses, and finally toasting together with crossed arms. I wasn't mad at all. I was actually feeling sleepy. It was late, and all I wanted was to head home and crash. Everyone had a blast, but Lily didn't look too happy. I checked my watch. It was already 11:30. How about we call it a night? I want to head home and rest, I said. Everyone was taken aback, and Lily showed a brief look of relief, though it quickly faded into her usual frown. We were all having fun and planning to hit a bar to keep the party going. Don't kill the vibe? I was confused and shook my head. Nah, I'm not ruining anything. You guys go ahead. I'm just super tired. Hero, looking guilty, said, Alex, are you mad at me again? I'm sorry. I know I went a bit overboard with Lily today, but we're just friends. Lily stepped in front of him with a cold stare. No need to apologize. He's just having one of his old moods again. I yawned, tears welling up from being worn out. I'm really not mad. How about this? You guys go to the bar and I'll cover the tab. Deal. Lily saw my tears and seemed momentarily happy, but when she realized what I meant, her face darkened instantly. I didn't argue anymore. I tossed a card down and left. Once in my car, I called my boss, Mr. Tanaka. I'm ready to move to Metro City ASAP. Finally made a decision, huh? Don't sweat it, the company will sort you out. He'd been pushing me for a while, saying young folks should focus on their careers, but I hesitated because of Lily. Thankfully, her constant drama had snapped me out of my love-struck nonsense. When I got home, I went straight to bed. In the dead of night, a loud bang woke me up like someone had kicked the door. The room lit up suddenly, blinding me. Lily stood there, leaning against the doorframe, with Hero by her side. Sorry for waking you so late, Alex, Hero said apologetically. Lily drank too much, and I wasn't comfortable letting her go home alone. So I brought her here, hiding my irritation at being disturbed. I coldly replied, All right, take her to the guest room to sleep. Just as I was about to go back to bed, Lily angrily shoved Hero aside and yanked the covers off me. Alex, you don't even care about me. Not even a single call. You used to always pick me up. Indeed, before, no matter who she was with, I'd always call to check if she was safe. If it got too late, I'd drive to pick her up myself. But all it ever got me was being mocked by her friends and scolded by her. They laughed at me for being too clingy and joked that Lily was strict with her partner. Lily would always lash out to save face. Alex, I'm an adult. I deserve my freedom. Stop controlling me and back off. Thinking about this, I pulled the blanket over myself. You always said I was too controlling. Now that I'm giving you freedom, isn't that what you wanted? She was left speechless, her face turning red. I'm feeling dizzy. Can you make me some hangover soup? She asked, trying to soften her tone. In the past, every time she drank, I'd whip up that soup. But now, I didn't feel like it. The ingredients are in the kitchen. If you want it, make it yourself. I have work tomorrow. I'm heading to sleep. I got up, shoved both of them out, and locked the door. Lily started banging on the door, shouting, Alex, are you giving me attitude now? Before I'd have done all this without her needing to ask. Now, even when she tried to ask sweetly in front of Hero, I felt nothing. But really, what did it matter to me? I put in my noise-canceling earplugs and drifted into a deep sleep. It was the best sleep I'd had in ages. No dreams. The next morning, I found Lily in an apron, glaring at me with resentment. Thought you were going to sleep all day. Go make some porridge. Hero says his stomach hurts. The smell of burnt food wafted from the kitchen. She tried cooking for Hero and messed it up big time. Why should I? I said with a cold laugh, making Lily look up in shock. He's your ex, not mine. Hero, clutching his stomach from the couch, weakly chimed in, Lily, you two don't need to fight over me. I'm out of here, I laughed. If you were truly considerate, you'd have left last night. Alex, my friend got home late and I was drinking. What's wrong with letting him crash on the couch? Lily screamed. Nothing. I wouldn't even mind if you slept next to him, I replied casually as I headed to the bathroom. The sounds of things being thrown and a door slamming followed. When I came out, they were both gone and the kitchen was a wreck, with pieces of a burnt pot scattered everywhere. I didn't bother cleaning up. I headed straight to work. For the next 3 days, Lily didn't come home. I saw her post on social media. In the photo, she was wearing a baggy men's shirt, holding up a pan-fried bun with chopsticks, captioned, You really know me well. You know I love pan-fried buns. Hero wasn't in the picture, but I could see his hand wearing a watch. It was the same watch Lily had given me for our anniversary last year. At the time, I was thrilled, only to later discover Hero had the exact same one. From that day on, I tossed the watch into a drawer and never wore it again. Every time Lily and I argued, she'd run to Hero and post passive-aggressive updates on social media for my eyes only. Like today, before, I'd have panicked, calling her over and over, begging her to come home. Even when it was her fault, I'd let it go, and she'd come back like a haughty princess, casually asking, Have you learned your lesson? But now I didn't care anymore. I liked her post and then knocked on my boss's office door. Boss, when can I leave? The sooner, the better? He smiled approvingly. I've already told Luis to sort things out. It's rare to see you finally come around. Don't worry, your salary will double when you get there. When my coworkers heard I was moving to Metro City, they congratulated me and someone asked, What about your girlfriend? I smiled and said, We've broken up. We weren't right for each other. They nodded knowingly. Over the next week, I was busy handing over my work until I saw Hero's latest post on social media. I said I wanted to see the ocean tomorrow, and you're taking me at dawn. You're the best. The picture was of 2 figures sitting on the beach, facing the sea in peaceful calm. Lily commented, Of course, I'm your ever-reliable best friend who never lets you down. I liked the post and commented, Wishing you both everlasting love. The post was quickly deleted. Shortly after, Lily called me. I didn't pick up and set my phone to silent. After working late until 7 p.m., I checked my phone to find dozens of missed calls and messages. Lily's messages read, Don't get the wrong idea, it wasn't just the 2 of us at the beach. A whole group of us went. And we stayed in separate rooms. I've been crashing in a different room at Hero's house these past few days. The other day, I didn't have clothes, so I borrowed his shirt because I got caught in the rain. I've cooked dinner at home. I'll come pick you up tonight. I was surprised. This was the first time she tried to explain herself. Before, with posts like this, I'd lose my cool and argue, but she wouldn't even bother explaining. She'd just say, Only insecure people think so negatively. We're just good friends. Now that I didn't care anymore and genuinely wished them well, she started explaining and even tried to make peace. In all 3 years together, she'd never cooked for me. Lily always said she wanted to be spoiled like a princess forever, and princesses don't cook. Yet every time Hero had a stomachache, she'd rush over to cook him a full meal. If I ever got upset, she'd coldly say, Hero is sick. He can't keep eating takeout. What's wrong with me cooking for him? And if I protested, she'd add, If you think it's unfair, stop cooking. I can eat takeout forever. I always gave in because I didn't want her eating unhealthy food. Looking back, I can't believe how foolishly in love I was. Thankfully, I finally snapped out of it. All right, I replied to her last message. I figured it was time to tell her in person that it was over. When I got downstairs, Lily was waiting by the car, waving at me. Before I could approach, she ran up, linking her arm with mine. Working overtime is tough. I made your favorite sweet and sour ribs and braised shrimp. For a moment, I was stunned. Is this really Lily? She actually cooked for me and even came to pick me up from work. Alex, why have you been ignoring me for so long? Lily's eyes reddened as she spoke, clearly hurt. I gently pulled my arm free, pausing before replying. Because you always complained that I was too controlling, that you didn't have enough freedom. I thought giving you more space was what you wanted. She bit her lip, looking guilty. I just realized over the past few days that I got used to you caring for me, having you around. Even though I was with them, I kept thinking about you. That's why I came back early. Cooking is really tiring, but I'll do it more often for you. I stayed silent, meeting her hopeful gaze. In the future, we won't have that chance, I finally said. Her expression changed. What do you mean? Before I could answer, her phone rang. Lily, I'm at the airport and my stomach hurts. It was Hero again. Lily reacted instantly, tensing up with worry. Hero, ask someone there for some hot water. I'll be right there. She hung up and looked at me apologetically. I'm sorry, Hero isn't feeling well. I need to go pick him up. I nodded. I understand. Go ahead. I left some stomach medicine and a thermos in the car. You can go to my office and fill it with hot water. There might not be any pharmacies near the airport. I added, smiling as I gave her detailed instructions on caring for someone who's sick. Remember, people with stomach issues shouldn't just drink porridge. Toast is actually better for them. Lily's eyes reddened. Alex, why are you suddenly saying all this? I smiled. Because you've gotten so used to me taking care of you. I guess you wouldn't know how to care for someone else. Go on. Hero's waiting for you at the airport. She looked panicked, clutching my hand desperately like a mad woman. Alex, are you not even a bit jealous? I sighed, but before I could respond, my coworker approached us. Alex, I've been looking everywhere for you. Oh, is this your girlfriend? He asked, giving Lily a friendly smile. Nice to meet you, ma'am. Alex here told us you two had broken up, but clearly that's not the case. You're such a supportive girlfriend. Letting him move to Metro City for work. Impressive. My coworker's bluntness hit Lily like a ton of bricks. Her expression shifted instantly. What did you say? Alex is moving to Metro City. Her body shook as her nails dug into my arm, leaving marks. I frowned and pulled my arm free, speaking calmly. Yes, I made the decision 2 weeks ago, on your birthday. Let's break up. Lily, you don't mean that, do you? She asked, using a term of endearment she rarely called me in our 3 years together. In the past, I used to cling to her, asking her to call me husband, but she always said it felt weird and refused. Now, when she finally did, I didn't want to hear it anymore. It's not just words of anger. Lily, I'm serious. I looked into her tear-filled eyes. My voice was calm. I'm leaving this city soon, starting a new life elsewhere. Take care of yourself from now on. She bit her lip so hard that blood started dripping. My coworker finally sensed the awkwardness and quickly excused himself, slipping away unnoticed. I frowned and turned away from her. I hailed a cab to go home and pack my things, stuff I'd been organizing over the past few days. Lily followed me home, storming in to block my way. I've already swallowed my pride and come back to cook for you. What more do you want? I admit I went too far before, but I've been making it up to you, even ditching my friends for you. Isn't that enough? Throwing a tantrum has its limits. And now you're acting just to fool me. Her bloodshot eyes glared at me, convinced I was just being spiteful. I'm giving you one last chance, as long as you don't say the words, break up. I promise not to see Hero again. I chuckled and shook my head. Too late for that. Lily, I don't love you anymore. Her face turned pale as she desperately searched my eyes for something, anything. I don't believe you. I won't agree to break up. Her phone rang again, and Hero's weak voice came through. Lily, where are you? I feel awful. Please hurry, Hero. I can't make it. You should ask the airport staff for help or call an ambulance. Lily hung up the phone with a stern look. I was surprised. This was the first time she'd ever refused a request from Hero. He's a grown man. He can take care of himself. I can't always be there for him, she explained. I couldn't help but laugh at the irony. In the past, during holidays or special occasions, whenever Hero called, Lily would drop everything to see him. Back then, she'd scold me, saying, Hero is all alone, and it's my responsibility as his friend to take care of him. Don't be so narrow-minded. He's in the past, and now we're just best friends. So she knew all along what she was doing wasn't right, but she kept gaslighting me into accepting it. Some kind of compliance test. How ridiculous. What are you laughing at? Lily looked at me, confused. I finally get why Hero's girlfriend left him. He deserved it. I sneered. He has an ex who doesn't know any boundaries, claiming to be his best friend and always by his side. What normal woman could handle that? Alex, how could you say that? Lily shrieked, like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. I'm saying that both you and Hero are pathetic, completely clueless about boundaries. You both deserve to be dumped. I said each word clearly, watching her stumble from the impact. You're insulting me. I didn't bother replying. I just grabbed my suitcase and walked out the door. Lily lunged at me, hugging me from behind. You're right. It's my fault. I'll change. Please don't leave me. Babe, I know I was wrong. Her warm tears stung my back. But the feeling only disgusted me. You never cherish something until it's about to be lost. How sickening. Don't call me babe anymore. Let go, I said coldly. No, I won't let you go. Lily began acting like a spoiled kid, refusing to let me leave. I pried her arms off and walked away without looking back. Behind me, I could hear her heart-wrenching screams. Sigh. I hoped for a smooth breakup, but it didn't go that way. I guess I can't pretend to be a saint and just brush off the people who hurt me with a smile. With a heavy sigh, I dragged my suitcase back to the office. There was still a week before I had to leave the province, so I temporarily stayed at a hotel near the office. For the next 2 days, Lily kept bombarding me with calls and messages, apologies, reminiscing about the past, begging for forgiveness. I was so irritated that I blocked her on everything. Looking out at the rain outside my window, I felt a wave of relief wash over me. Alex, there's someone downstairs asking for you. My coworker called me down, and I found Lily standing there hugging herself. It was early autumn, and she had been caught in the rain, soaked through and shivering. When she saw me, her eyes lit up, and she hurried over to hug me. I stepped back a few steps and frowned. What are you doing here? Please, babe, stop being like this. Let's go home. All right, she pleaded, her eyes red and puffy, likely from days of sleeplessness. I'm not going back. That house belongs to you. We've already broken up, so there's no reason for me to live there anymore. I replied indifferently. I know you're angry because I didn't know my boundaries before and because I brought Hero to my birthday party and played games with him. I've thought about it deeply and promise I'll never do it again. I've already told Hero not to contact me unless it's important. Please, forgive me, she begged, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. I said nothing, and she continued. I've even thought about what you said when you insulted me that day. You were right. If you're still mad, you can keep yelling at me. This version of her felt both familiar and foreign. Humble, cautious, desperate, and without dignity. It reminded me of my old self. I used to be that way too. Except back then, she was the one who made me feel so small. I have no connection to you anymore. I won't yell at you. I have work to do. Goodbye. I coldly brushed her off and turned to leave. Desperate, Lily pulled a small object from her pocket wrapped in plastic. I know you left the house in a huff, and that's why you didn't take this charm with you. You once said you'd carry it everywhere, just like you'd carry me. Alex, could you really break your own promise? As I took the charm from her hand, memories flooded back. This charm was something Lily got for me when we first met. 3 years ago, I had just started working in the city, and one evening after work, I went out for dinner with colleagues. Suddenly, I heard a faint cry for help from a nearby table. Turning around, I saw a pure and beautiful girl being dragged out by her friends. That girl was Lily. Her face was unnaturally flushed, and the guys with her glared at me. "We're her friends. Mind your own business," they snapped. Even my colleagues urged me not to get involved, but I stood up anyway. "Acting like a fool, she's calling for help. I have reason to believe you're trying to kidnap her. If you don't let her go, I'll call the police." It was already late, and there weren't many people left at the barbecue stand. The leader of the group, a guy with bleached hair, slapped me across the face. "You little punk, you think you can threaten me?" That night, I got beaten up by several of them until my colleagues called the police. At the station, I found out that Lily didn't actually know those guys. She had been heartbroken and went out drinking alone, but suddenly started feeling dizzy, and those guys took advantage of the situation. The police warned her, "Young lady, don't go drinking alone again. You could have been drugged." The officers told me I had saved her from something terrible, as those thugs had a notorious reputation and caused trouble before. They knew how to fight just enough to hurt me without leaving any serious injuries. Lily cried and thanked me for saving her, promising to take care of my wounds until I healed. That's how we met. Afterwards, she went to a temple and got me a charm, telling me to keep it on for protection. When we got together, I cherished that charm, always keeping it close. Carrying this is like carrying you. It protects me, and I'll protect you for life. Okay, I once vowed to her, but after deciding to break up, I no longer wanted to carry it. Lily, I wasn't the one who broke the promise. I sighed, reminding her. You were the one who asked to be with me in the first place. You said you liked me because I made you feel safe. But later on, you found me annoying and deliberately avoided me to spend time with Hero instead. You wore down my love little by little. You can't blame anyone else. Lily bit her lips so hard her whole body trembled. Before I could say anything more, her eyes rolled back and she fainted on the ground. I had no choice but to carry her to the couch in the lobby and borrow a thermometer from the front desk. As I suspected, she had a high fever, completely drenched, curling up in her sleep with her face twisted in pain. It struck me then that in the past, she never had to get caught in the rain. Whenever it rained, no matter where she was, I'd call her immediately to ask if she needed an umbrella or a ride home. But she always responded with cold indifference. I'm an adult. I know how to avoid the rain. If I don't have an umbrella, I can buy one. Can you stop bothering me? My endless care and protection were only met with her irritation and contempt. Alex, please don't leave me, she murmured after taking some medicine. Her eyes fluttered open, full of helplessness and pleading. I shook my head slowly. I've already called your friends to come pick you up. I have something to do, so I won't be staying. Lily grabbed my sleeve, tears streaming from her eyes. In the past, I couldn't stand to see her shed even a single tear. It would break my heart. But now, I felt nothing. Alex, there you are. We've been looking all over for you. Come on, the boss and everyone else have already left for the restaurant. They're waiting for the guest of honor, you. My coworker came to get me. Just as Hero arrived, Lily asked, "Are you okay?" He rushed to the couch, reaching out to feel her forehead. I stood up and walked away. Behind me, I could hear Lily's heart-wrenching cries, followed by her yelling something at Hero. None of it mattered to me anymore. A week later, I finally flew to Metro City. The colleagues there were friendly, and work became even busier. Yet, despite everything, Lily still hadn't given up. She sent me messages every day trying to get my attention. I tried making your favorite sweet and sour pork. It's a bit ugly, but it tastes pretty good. I had another nightmare. Without you here, I keep having bad dreams. It's raining again today, but I've gotten used to carrying an umbrella in my bag, just in case. After all, you won't be there to pick me up anymore. A pigeon fell off the balcony. I bandaged its wing. It's so pitiful. Alex, I miss you so much. She sent these messages countless times over 2 months. In the past, I was the one sharing every little thing with her, just like that. I remembered the time I found a stray kitten on the street, took a picture, and sent it to her. This poor thing. Can I bring it home? It took her a long time to reply. I'm allergic to pet hair. We can't have it. At that moment, I realized she hadn't even bothered to look at the picture. My disappointment grew over time until eventually I became used to it. After all, I loved her more, so I was willing to lower myself. But now that I no longer loved her, she had only just started trying to share things with me. Too little, too late. Delayed affection is worth less than nothing. Delayed sharing is just a nuisance. During this time, Hero had stopped posting anything about Lily. He used to post about her at least once or twice a week, whether they were out having fun or she was taking care of him, cooking and bringing him medicine. Now, Hero's social media is filled with melancholic posts, much like the overly dramatic musings of a teenage boy. If this had been before, Lily would probably have shared in his sadness. But now, watching him act like this, I find it amusing, like watching a clown perform. During my 6 months in Metro City, Lily continued sharing her life with me relentlessly. I no longer bothered blocking her, though I had no idea where she got so many new accounts. After finishing my first project, my boss invited me back to celebrate. I made plans with a colleague to pick me up from the airport. However, upon landing, I saw Lily waiting there from a distance. As soon as she spotted me, her eyes lit up with excitement. My colleague texted me, "Sorry, Alex, she was too persistent. I'll make it up with 3 drinks later." Lily approached, looking thinner and more worn than I remembered. "Alex, can't we even stay friends after the breakup?" I had to beg my colleague to tell me she was coming back today. I didn't know how to respond. Seeing a hint of grievance on her face, she smiled, grabbed my luggage, and said, "Come on, I'll drive you to the restaurant." Women really are mysterious creatures. Despite our breakup and my coldness over the past 6 months, she clung to me like glue, unwilling to sever the connection. I instinctively went to sit in the back seat, but she pulled me into the front passenger seat instead. In the past, the front seat had always been reserved for Hero. Even when the 3 of us were together, I'd always been stuck in the back. "What are you looking for?" Lily asked, noticing me glance at the center console. I remembered that spot used to be filled with Hero stuff. Breath fresheners, colognes, samples, and men's hand cream. Once, I got so angry about those items that I tried to throw them out. But Lily mocked me, saying I was petty and trying to keep others from living their best lives just because I wasn't as refined as them. Those are just things. How do they affect you? Now all those things were gone, likely thrown away. So she did understand that they had significance, that they weren't just harmless objects. "Nothing," I replied. As the car crawled through traffic, Lily turned to me when we hit a red light. "I'm sorry. I didn't have good boundaries back then. I thought it didn't matter who sat in the front or who left things there, but now I get how you must have felt." I stayed silent. As we moved forward in stop-and-go traffic, my post-flight nausea worsened. I brought some motion sickness pills, just in case. She handed me a bottle, then opened a thermos from the cup holder. "It's chilly now. Drink some hot water." It was the same thermos I had told her to give Hero. That touched something in me. If this had been in the past, I'd have been overjoyed just to have her come pick me up, let alone be so thoughtful. But back then, she'd have hung up impatiently, telling me she was too busy and that I should take a cab home. As for motion sickness pills, I'd only ever seen her prepare them for Hero, even though I suffer from motion sickness. On that winding mountain road trip, Lily had given the only pill to Hero, saying Hero's stomach isn't good. If he throws up, it'll be really bad for him. You can hold on a bit longer. Right, I didn't even know you got car sick. I had clung to the side of a tree, vomiting bitter bile as the stomach acid burned my throat. But Lily had known about my motion sickness. She just hadn't cared. I remembered when we first started dating. I went with her to the amusement park and threw up terribly after riding the pirate ship. She had been so concerned back then. Why didn't you tell me you get motion sickness, silly? I wouldn't have forced you to ride it. I laughed it off, telling her I had taken medicine beforehand but miscalculated the dosage. She cried, hugging me and saying, "Alex, you're so good to me." But later, after Hero showed up, she gradually forgot these things. Now, after our breakup, it seemed she had remembered them again. When we arrived at the restaurant, I hesitated. She smiled at me and said, "Go ahead, don't drink too much." I nodded and went inside. By the time dinner ended, it was already 11:30 p.m. Stepping out, I was surprised to find Lily still waiting by the roadside. When she saw me, she got out of the car and handed me a hangover remedy. "Drink this. It'll help you feel better." I was puzzled by her change. Why had she become like this? It was as if we'd never broken up, only our roles had flipped. Now she was the clingy and attentive one. "Lily, you don't need to do this. We're all set." I started to leave, but she cut me off before I could say break up. "Can't I just do this as a friend?" Her eyes were red, her nose pink, and she sneezed. She'd probably been sitting in the cold car all evening, unable to start the engine and stay warm. Alex, I never knew how hard it was to wait until now. Once inside the car, she looked at me with sad, pleading eyes. Yes, I remembered how I used to wait for her all the time. Like the time it snowed, and she dragged me to karaoke with her friends. They'd egg her and Hero on to sing a duet. I couldn't handle the atmosphere and went outside for some air. I sat outside for half an hour, but she never came to check on me. Out of stubbornness, I stayed outside for another hour. It wasn't until Lily came out to use the bathroom that she saw me sitting there like an idiot. I had been waiting for almost 2 hours. The wind that night was freezing, and the snow had soaked my clothes. I caught a fever. "Are you stupid? Why didn't you say something? Serves you right for getting sick." She had scolded, showing no concern, only irritation. "I'm sorry." Showing no concern, only irritation. "I'm sorry. I was so immature back then, letting you sit out in the cold and watch the snow like that." Lily said softly now, her apology finally circling back to hit her. "It's fine. It's all in the past. I didn't ask you to wait for me today. So don't blame me if you get sick." My tone was calm, but she froze at my words. All I had done was return the words she had once thrown at me. The difference was that back then, I'd have been soothed by her simple apology. Now it was impossible. We drove in silence. Lily's eyes were red, and she kept glancing at me. When we reached the hotel parking lot, her phone rang. "Lily, I miss you. Can you come see me?" It was Hero. Of course, Lily furrowed her brow, about to respond when she sneezed again. "You're sick? Where are you? I'll bring you some medicine," she said. I opened the car door, laughing quietly to myself. "Seems like you're not lacking people who care about you. I'll get off here." From the other end of the phone, Hero had clearly heard my voice and shouted, "Of course you don't care about Lily, but I do. You should stay away from her and stop making her miserable." I had nothing left to say, so I grabbed my suitcase and left. No matter how much Lily called after me, I didn't look back. Her voice faded into the wind. That night, Hero smugly posted on social media, "Longing does get a response. You finally came to see me." I chuckled to myself and tossed my phone aside before heading to the bathroom. When I came back out, I had a few missed calls. I only went to see Hero to make things clear. I told him, "I don't want to be friends anymore. From now on, we're done." Don't misunderstand. His post was just him being presumptuous. I made him delete it. Sure enough, Hero's post had already disappeared. But I could only laugh. In the past, every time Hero dragged Lily away from me, he'd post about how their friendship was worth celebrating. No matter how upset I got, Lily would coldly tell me, "We're just friends. Why do you care so much about these trivial things?" What? Am I supposed to control what my friends post? Don't be ridiculous. Her scolding words were still fresh in my memory. But now she seemed to understand. It was these so-called trivial things that had slowly eroded my love for her. Your friend can post whatever he wants. Freedom of speech, freedom of choice. I replied with just that one sentence. Like a boomerang hitting her right between the eyes, Lily finally broke down. She sent me voice messages, crying. I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong now. When he tried to drive a wedge between us, I finally felt the pain you must have felt back then. It's my fault. I didn't stop him when I should have. Instead, I fueled his arrogance, belittled and criticized you. I was the one who pushed you away. I'm so sorry, Alex. Listening to her tearful voice, I felt nothing. If she had realized this earlier, maybe things would have been different. But now it didn't matter anymore. I turned off my phone, ignored her, and slept soundly through the night. The next morning, I packed my bags and went down to the hotel lobby. It was already 10 a.m. As I pulled out my phone to call a cab, I heard Lily's voice. I'll take you to the airport. She was curled up on the lobby sofa, dark circles under her eyes, even more prominent. I realized she must have returned after cutting ties with Hero and waited for me all night. There's no need. You didn't rest, so you shouldn't drive, I said calmly, dragging my suitcase toward the exit. Lily rushed after me, blocking my path, her eyes red and swollen. It was on my birthday, wasn't it? I didn't quite understand what she meant. She struggled to speak, her voice hoarse. That day, I didn't understand why you invited Hero to the party. During the games, I intentionally got too close to him to provoke you. But you didn't get angry anymore. You even encouraged me to stay with them while you left alone. Was that when you started to give up on me? I shook my head. No, that was just the last straw. Her face crumpled and tears began to flow. I know I did so many things wrong before. Over the past 6 months, I've reflected on everything. I think about it, and I want to slap myself. It was my fault. I took advantage of your love, thinking you'd never leave me, so I kept testing your limits. I just wanted to see how much you cared, to hear you say you loved me. She choked on her sobs, her words barely intelligible. But I almost forgot. People's hearts grow cold. It's my fault. Please forgive me. Give me another chance. I've already cut ties with all those friends. I'll change. I'll be the girlfriend you've always wanted. I'll make you breakfast, go everywhere with you, take care of your health. I won't miss any more anniversaries, and I'll never give someone else the same gifts I give you. From now on, you'll be my only one. Please. I looked at her but didn't say anything. She grew desperate. I'll do all of it, I swear. I've already deleted those people and told them not to contact me. Please believe me. I sighed and smiled softly. So you see, you knew all along what you were doing wrong, but you still did it. Every time I got angry and argued, you never reflected on it. Instead, you turned it on me, accusing me of being the problem. Like you said, you were confident in my love for you. You thought I'd never leave, that I'd stick to you like a desperate fool. You took my love and smothered it. It's over, Lily. No, I still love you, Alex. I still love you, Lily cried out in panic, no longer caring about her dignity. But Lily, I don't love you anymore. I'm someone who deserves someone better, someone who'll stand by me through thick and thin, who won't expect me to carry the entire burden. That's the kind of person I'll love. Lily collapsed, clutching her head and sobbing uncontrollably, struggling to catch her breath. Goodbye, Lily, I said, dragging my suitcase and walking away without looking back. Goodbye to the person I once loved with all my heart. When I can no longer remember why I was ever hurt, that's when I'll have truly forgotten you.